So I'm going to assume that this is the community of people who are joining us, mostly. We have some breakfast amblers over there. I will reintroduce myself. My name is Ashley Foreman. I am the Director of Education at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. I've been at Arena Stage for 14 years, and I am so lucky to be the Director of Education in their Community Engagement Division. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Arena Stage, who have heard of Arena Stage, but Arena Stage has a, yes, there you go, yes. Arena Stage has a really distinguished and interesting history in America. It is the first regional theater in all of America. Arena Stage started the regional theater movement. And some of you might know what that means, and some of you might still not be impressed. But it was started in 1950 by Zelda Fitzgerald and her husband, Tom. And the reason why they started the theater, there are actually two reasons. One was that it was the first integrated theater in all of that part of the country, in all of DC, and one of the first integrated theaters in all of America. And by creating a theater where people of different races could sit in the audience together and perform in an acting company together, that allowed professional theater to leave New York City. Because at the time, Actors Equity, the actors union, would not allow professional actors to perform in segregated houses, which means they could only perform in New York City, where there were desegregated houses. So all the theater in the country was made in New York City and then toured with different non-equity companies. By creating a theater in a community outside of DC and having an integrated audience, all of a sudden, different stories could be told and theater could be created throughout America, because then that started happening, making theater available to all Americans who could go to theater and making more stories available. As a result, Arena Stage is the first theater to ever bring a show to Broadway rather than having it come and tour, with James Earl Jones and the Great White Hope in 1960. And so, yeah, so we have a very distinguished history, but a lot of that history is involved in community engagement, in engaging the community and discussing and creating art and facilitating discussions around difficult issues. So we're really lucky to be part of that department, and I will let Fareed introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Fareed Mostofi, and I'm the Community and Training Programs Manager at Arena Stage. And I feel very privileged, alongside Ashley, to be here because the community is very important to us. We spend our days and nights working with the artists, and we call every single person we work with an artist because we believe that any person that has experienced life and has a story to tell is an artist, and that we all tell our story or find our way to tell our story in a different way. So we might call you artists.
It might happen. It might
with
just
every
slip out.
artist that we work with, we are engaged in making sure that they are heard, but part of making sure that they are heard is getting to know them in their life, in their community, and that is very much involved in health. So you directly impact the people that we work with and us. So we're so privileged to be here to hopefully do some activities that will be on our feet. Sometimes we'll be speaking, sometimes we'll be silent and moving to try different ways. Sometimes we'll be writing, trying different ways to have conversations. And hopefully by the end of our time together, which will be about 50 minutes, we will have a better sense of some of the questions we have, some of the resources we have, some of the things that we need, and what impassions us to do the work that we do.
So good?
Yep.
Are you on board? Yep. All right. First thing, I need your hands free. So you can just set your breakfast on the floor right in front of you.
Great. And let's go ahead. Would we mind moving our circle a little bit this way, filling it in a little bit so that these folks can join the circle?
Down, so we don't want a musical breakfast chair situation.
Great.
All right. If you are in the circle and you are ready, give me a thumbs up with your right hand. Thumbs up with your right hand. Excellent. Left hand, palms down. Palms up. You were right. You should facilitate this. It was not a trick. All right. So I'd like you to take your thumbs up on your right hand and turn it upside down and place it in the palm of the person to your right. Gently.
Yes. Yep.
There you go. So we should be connected. Are we all connected? Okay. You have, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. On go after 3. Not on 3, but on go. You have 2 goals. 2. 1. Escape the person to your right. Practice doing that. Escape, escape. Good. 2. Catch the person to your left.
Just like that.
Yes, right. We are working against each other in this activity.
You can catch Mark just by grabbing my thumb.
Yeah, are you ready?
Grab like, yep.
Yes, you are. So escape the person to your right, catch the thumb to your left.
Yeah, grab
Catch
that
the
thumb.
Catch it. Get it. Don't let them get out of your hand. All right, ready?
And let go, everybody.
Thumbs up, palms up, and reset. So turn your thumb upside down. Rest it in the palm of the person to your right.
So you're supposed to be grabbing.
Freed, can you go around and make sure everybody's ready?
Great. Looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good.
Looks good, looks good. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go, and then you're going to do it. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, go. Got you. All right. And again, reset.
Go as both.
And
You
again,
got to do both.
and again.
You got to do both, escape
And-
and catch.
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, you won.
Yeah,
Nice.
She did.
Getting better. All right.
Excellent. All right. Uh-oh. There are a few ways to cheat. You can go before I say go. You can cup. Any cuppers in here? Yep, you can do what Mary Lou did, which was leap across me and grab my thumb when the activity was over. There are ways to cheat, definitely. One more time, we're going to switch hands.
Oh, switch hands,
I know.
everybody.
That always throws everybody for a loop. Left hand, thumbs up. Right hand, palms up. And let's get set up.
Here we go. Yep.
Yep. All right. You're grabbing with the right hand. You're escaping with your left. All right. Let's see. I can't read. Thomas, will you count for me? 1, 2, 3, go. Great. Make sure they can hear you.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, nice. Good job. There you go.
We were waiting for the go.
I know. One more time. One more time. One last time. Thomas, ready? I know, it's on go. I cheated too. I couldn't help it. I got nervous. Okay. Ready? Yes!
There you go. Almost though. You don't, I'm not even. I know. It's like.
All right. So, why do we start a workshop? Why do we start our facilitation with this activity? I believe in being very transparent when facilitating, okay? What happened instantly? What happened when we were finished? Laughter. And we got confused, and we figured it out together, and we laughed, right? When working with a new community, I always like to start with activities that build tension and then release tension in small ways. Because when you build tension with that 1, 2, 3, and then release the tension, the community relaxes. Like when you're exercising and you flex a muscle and you release, right? And we did it 3 times, and did you notice that we laughed louder each time? It was harder and harder to rein the group in because we got more and more relaxed, okay? And so we also asked you to do something challenging for a new community. What was that? Yes, we asked you to touch each other, right? Absolutely, thank you. Absolutely. Fareed.
Final activity where your hands do need to be free for this.
They do,
one.
that's
So go
why
ahead
I'm
and
wondering if we were doing it, because I know the breakfast.
Yes, I know. But on the next activity, you'll be able to pick it back up. All right, now we're going to achieve something together, because my understanding is that we're here to explore questions together and hopefully leave with some answers and connections and plans. All right, so this is how we start. When I say 1, you do this, okay? 1, 1, 1, 1. Were we able to get it together?
Yes.
Yes, we were. 1, 1. Beautiful. When I say 2, do this. And you can also just make the motion, all right? No discrimination against non-snappers. All right. 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. I threw in a new challenge, and what'd you do? You met it as a group. All right, let's give you another one.
You are.
When I say 3, do this. Okay? 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 1. Almost all together. Who made a few mistakes? That's okay. That's okay. Excellent. I'm going to throw in another challenge because sometimes even when we're not ready, a new challenge emerges. All right? So when I say 4, When I say 4, what you're going to do is you're going to go, whoop, whoop. And what I'm hoping to see here is I want to engage our voices a little bit because we've been doing a lot of listening. All right, let's hear it. 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, 4. I like this sound. Let's add a little more. When I say community, I want you to say health. Okay? Community. Health. Community. Health. Community. Health. 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. Community. Health. Community. Health. Health.
Community.
Yes, health. Health.
Community. 1.
Community. Help. Community. Help. 1, 1, 1. And give yourselves a round of applause. Good. Why do we do this activity? A couple of things. Did anybody notice that maybe your mind had been wandering a little bit and then you found yourself being able to clap or snap or call out with the group? Yes. One thing I love about doing this activity with communities is because it even helps me notice how my mind thinks about other things when I'm supposed to be doing something. So it's a great way to bring a group together, reminding ourselves we are here for a mission. I also love the sound that you make together. Today we are going to be working together to come up with solutions and questions. And I want you to remember this moment and how loud you could stomp and how proud you could call, because this group together is going to make our populations healthier. Okay? Great.
All right. What we're going to ask you to do now is move around this space, okay? And it's in a special way because it's aimless. That's what makes it special. It's called milling. It looks like this. Look, we're doing it. We're not going anywhere.
If I had coffee in my hand, it would look like this. Yeah.
We're not talking to each other. We're just moving. I'm going to ask you to do that. You will only do it for seconds at a time. It's just a way of mixing up the group. Okay? Are you ready? All right. And mill. Listen to my instructions while you mill. So you're doing 2 things. On the count of 5, by the count of 5, I would like you to form groups based on what you're wearing on the top of your body. There are no wrong answers, and be silent when you get to your group. By the count of 5, you're going to form groups by what you're wearing on the top of your body.
Do not discuss what your group is.
1, 2. There's no wrong answer. 3, 4, 5. Get with the group and you're right. Wherever you are, you're right. Okay. So, we're going to come around to your group. We're going to hear your group name. Your group name, since you have not discussed why you're there, will probably sound like this. That's great. Good job. Are you ready? And group name is, all 3 of you? They got it. They talked about it. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Stars. Wow. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Yay! We didn't do this one yet, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Colors. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Black and brown.
Oh, we're a representative. All right. Very good. Quickly in your group. You'll have 30 seconds. So you'll have to do it quick. Some of you will have a challenge. I'd like you to share a secret talent that you have.
And your name.
And your name. A secret skill or talent that you have. For example, I am also a jewelry designer, but I only do it in the secrecy of my home.
I am also fluent in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right. Go.
Yes, with our group. My name is Farida, and one thing you might not know about me is I used to, I can teach Spanish. I have a degree in that, Spanish teaching. Yeah.
I'm a secret playwright.
Ooh, I heard. What's next? The question.
Let's do the next one is, what's one thing you love about your work?
Okay.
One thing you love about your work?
Yeah. we're not going to do group names this time. We're just going to have them all say them at the same time. And then one thing you love about your work, and then what?
Maybe one more where we do group names just so that they get to
Okay.
be good at it. Then after maybe one person, one dream partner, dream resource.
Oh, dream partner. I like the dream partner. And hands up when everybody in your group is gone so I can see.
Good, hands up when everyone in your group has gone.
Oh, good.
Hands up when everyone in your group has gone. You all finished? Oh, I can't wait to know.
Very nice.
Did you all finish?
Some really special talents. What are some cool things that you heard? I heard playwright.
I heard someone is a playwright amongst you. What else? What other talents do we have in our room? A unicyclist. What else?
Yes,
Salsa
and you said it at the same
dancers.
time. Very nice. Paddleboarder. Sailor. It's really good to know our resources, right? When we're all together for a common goal, it's good to know our resources. We know we've got a playwright, a paddleboarder, a salsa dancer. We're ready.
Yeah, and
right?
we
are ready.
We got it all. I mean, and we're in work where we work with human beings, and human beings are multifaceted. So it's really cool to learn a little bit more about you. We're going to mill and form groups again, so be listening for Ashley to know what group you're going to be in. I'm going to challenge us this time. We're going to hear group names again. And one thing I love about hearing all the names at once is there may be people who come and stand in your group, and you don't know why they're standing with you. I love that because this activity challenges us to find a reason they're in the group. Right. So when you're coming up with your group name, how does it include everybody?
Right.
Good? And begin to mill.
Yes, mix yourselves up. That's
and I
the
love
most
the
important
smiling
part.
and greeting. That's nice.
All right. By the count of 5, you're going to group yourselves by what you are wearing on the lower half of your body. Lower half of your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You are in the right group. You're in the right group. Very nice. Fareed, can you run around and get my names for me?
Are we ready? And let's hear the names of these groups. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time, everybody together. 1, 2, 3, go. Lovely. Over here, 1, 2, 3, go. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, go. Brown shoes group over here. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, go.
Couple of white guys.
1, 2, 3, go. Nice.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, go. Wonderful. Is that all the groups? 1, 2, 3, go.
Wow. All right. So you have 1 minute to share something you love, your names, and then something you love about the work that you do. Something you love about the work that you do.
Make sure you hear from everybody. And go. Your name and something you love. Yeah. But I have a hat on. Isn't that funny? Like, when we did it in Fair Girls and it I can't believe I don't think else.
Sounds like sucking up.
Yeah.
That's eye color or hair, whatever that means.
Raise your hand when your group is finished.
Thank
raise your hand when your group is finished.
Good. Is your group finished? All right. All right, you are finished. Excellent. Some really interesting things that you heard, words that stood out? Service, thank you. People, service. Sorry? Money?
Money.
Hugging.
Hugging.
Better than money.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
We heard that when we were walking by. We both heard that.
Can you repeat it, Ashley?
I love being a horizontalist in the vertical world.
That's right. That's right. All right, we have one more, and I know we're rushing you. Usually we like to give people more time to discuss commonalities and to celebrate their work, but we don't have a lot of time. And so we're going to ask you to do one more before we move on to our next activity. Okay, so mix yourselves up, Mill. All right, listen for instructions so you know where you're going, and take up the space. You're so squished.
Yeah, there's.
All right, so
Yeah, she's
now
like,
this
"You
one
just
might
wanted
be
to
a
go-
challenge.
don't wanna leave your
So
people."
listen, you're going to group by your neck up. So it could be the top of your head, your hair. It could be eye color. Could be a hat. Ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They did hair anyway. And
Yeah.
freeze. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So, here is your topic. Please share your names once again. And then I actually really love this question, so I'm excited to ask it of you. I
wanna hear all
know.
their
Give me one
group
moment.
names?
We're going to ask you to do your group names all at once. Sorry. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Group names.
Ah,
Yeah, good
that's the
job.
name of your group.
That's
oh.
right. All right. And here is your question. I'd like you to share your names and a person or program that you would love to work with. A person in the world who you admire that you'd love to work with, or a program you'd love to
Does it have to be an
work with.
existing currently?
No, could be somebody from history.
Could be somebody, a program or a person from history. And go.
Go. You're mapping? Quick.
5 minutes. Hands up when you're finished. Are you all done? Finished? That's true. Still sharing? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it looks like a little bit more. And then he died.
I hope his sentence. He's coming to town on December 15th.
That's why Paul Newman came to mind.
That's okay. Yeah. I think some of our. No, that's okay. You can put them down. Some of their groups are. Yours come up?
Well, she was one of hers, which was great.
Really? Tish. Yeah, I was in Tish. Oh, you do? Another reason I love that activity is it does give the group a vocabulary if you need to bring the group together. Any interesting partners you heard of? Something that was inspiring to you that you heard from someone else?
I heard Teddy Roosevelt.
I heard Teddy Roosevelt? Oh, okay.
You talked about meeting someone and spending the day as kind of an understudy and then deciding, I want to be like that person. And I think that we often get touched by people. And she was the first person that I mentioned.
Wow. Can I get a hand for others that have had mentors that have guided them to the work that they're in? It's interesting, just notice around the room that commonality we also share. Great. So hands down, what we're going to do now is we're going to continue to have a dialogue together and learn more about each other. But this kind of dialogue is silent. You're going to use your bodies to communicate. It's this easy. I'm going to ask you a question, and then if your answer to the question is yes, you're going to stand on this side of the gray pole. And if your answer is no, you're going to stand on this side of the gray pole. So point to yes, just we've got it, and there's no. Great. And your first question is this. And just move there silently and then own your spot once you're there. The first question is, did you go to sleep last night before 11 p.m.? Yes, you did. No, you didn't. In the time zone of your preference. Let's see. Interesting. So we're learning a little bit about the group already. We know some of the folks who got a little more sleep and some who didn't. All right. That's true. That's true. That's true. Again, with transparency, one way we use this activity is also to begin to teach artists or people who've never created theater before a little bit about stage pictures and what it would look like if someone came off the elevator and saw two groups together with a big space in the middle and what they might think. So it's sort of interesting in that way too. Your next question, where the answer here is yes and the answer here is no, is do you work, are you originally from the community you currently work with? Yes, you are from that community that you make an impact on. No, you are not from that community you make an impact on. And if you're feeling sort of, kind of, there is a middle space for you.
I love that, right? And so we're all wondering, what does the middle mean? Which is cool. We don't need to know. They know. Yeah.
An interesting thing to think about, I was really taken in the keynote this morning about this idea of how do you get people excited about something or incentivize something so that to scale it, right? And there is something interesting about knowing who we work with and getting to know. It sounds like we have a lot of people who don't work in the communities and some who do. So we are a resource for each other in that way. We're gonna change the options, yeah. We'll spread the scale a little bit. There's more of a spectrum on the floor now where if the answer is very strongly yes, very strongly no, and then something in the middle. My question, just because it's the focus of today, is show me your degree of understanding of this concept of spread and scale. And it could be as the term, or it could be in relation to what you do and how you feel about it. Do you feel absolutely, totally comfortable? You get it? You're an expert?
I like how he said earlier, we talked about this, you could teach it to preschoolers.
Yeah.
You are that comfortable.
You could teach it there.
Yeah.
You really would have a lot more questions about it, or somewhere in the middle. Show us the degree. All right? And the image is so different. This is great.
Yes.
Good. And this moment might be helpful for our speakers too, just to know a little bit about where we are. Last one, and this time you have an option, okay, or you have 4 options rather, all right? And you're going to be responding to a phrase, okay? The phrase goes like this: building a healthy population is like, all right? Building a healthy population is like, in this corner, is it like climbing a mountain? Is building a healthy population like climbing a mountain? Is it like floating on a cloud? Is that work like crawling through mud? Is that work like swimming through an ocean? Is building a healthy population like climbing a mountain? What was this one? Floating on a cloud, crawling through mud, swimming through the ocean. Pick one this time and go. Are you in the cloud group? Oh, own it. Yeah, that's fine.
great.
That's great.
Wow.
Great. So,
He's loud.
we got our cloud group here? What I want you to do right now, because I'm already seeing it start to happen, is we're going to take just 1 minute, and I'll bring you back with our community health so that we know we're going to keep moving. Talk to someone next to you. Make sure everyone has someone to talk to. It can be a small group. But talk to someone about why you picked this. Why did you pick this? And then we'll hear a couple of answers in a minute. All right, go ahead. Talk to somebody. Oh, no, tell me. I'd love to know why you think building a park.
It's because you're sort of looking
Building a healthy population is also kind of like floating on a cloud. I feel like you can, when you're floating, it's like there's also that fear of falling. So it's like when you're succeeding, it can feel very effortless. But there's a lot of space between people when it comes to population. You know, there's a lot of, I don't know, height and space. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
You're going to share that, of course, right? Yeah. Community.
Health.
Community.
Health.
Community.
Health.
Community.
Health.
One. Oh, your hands. Community. That one's easier. 4.
Yes.
Now, I'd love to just hear a couple of responses. So if it was something that you heard or something that through your conversation you said and would like to share, let's hear 3, maybe 1 or 2 from each. Okay? Somebody from our mud group. Why is building a healthy population like crawling through mud?
You gotta get your hands dirty.
You've got to get your hands dirty.
Excellent.
Good. One more?
Because the context is a defining factor.
The
Yes.
Context that people are living in is a defining.
That's really interesting. Okay. This group is our swimming group. Tell us why it's swimming.
Oceans are powerful and they have currents and patterns and lots of energy.
Love that.
If you get your stroke right, you can get through almost anything.
Yes. Yeah, and then you can meet the occasional sharks. Excellent. Our mountain climbers. It's a challenge.
You never quite know how to get there. You have to figure it out along the way.
Yes.
And it's really worthwhile doing because when you get there, it's wonderful.
At a time,
Yeah.
it's doable as opposed to feeling overwhelmed. So just one step at a time.
So you climb a mountain one step at a time. When you get there, the view makes it worth it. It's amazing. Excellent. Thank you. And our cloud group.
I was just thinking, to really impact community health, you have to have the bird's eye view. You have to be in a place where you understand the patterns that are present. And so if you're going to make the interventions, you need to understand that whole broader series of issues that you're dealing with.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for your work.
Thank you. Sometimes it can be helpful to think about our work in this way just to get that that poetry to the work that you do. I heard from this group just now that building a healthy population is like floating on a cloud because you have to have a bird's eye view to put in the implementation, but it's also like crawling through mud because you have to get your hands dirty, and the context is very important. It's like swimming through an ocean because the oceans have powerful currents, and they're very strong, but when you get your stroke right, you can achieve a lot. And it's also like climbing a mountain because one step at a time, you start advancing towards what is ultimately a beautiful view. And that all came from you. So just something to keep in mind as we continue the work.
You're going to work for the next few minutes as individuals. So what we have done for you is we have laid out a table full of colorful Post-it notepads. There is one for each of you. So everybody take a Post-it notepad and a pen. And then here's what I'd like you to do. If you look around the room, you will see a series of questions on the wall. Free, do you want to tell us what those questions are?
Sure. So on this wall over here, we have what makes a program sustainable?
What gets in the way of building a healthy community?
What are your hopes for the meeting today?
Right?
For
How
the
do you
workshop
spread
today?
health? And then behind you, you have,
What questions do you have about spread and scale?
we might have that one twice.
Back here we have, how do you scale up your impact?
What does a healthy community have/need?
Good. And then we have, what questions do you have about spread and scale, one more time since it's our theme today. So go ahead and grab the Post-it notes and a pen.
And here's your instructions. One answer per Post-it note. We want to fill all of these white sheets with all of your answers, okay? But one answer per Post-it note. And you can answer things as many times as you want until you run out of Post-its. Yeah, we'll give you more if you run out. fill them up with your answers and your thoughts. There's nothing too small to add. Everything you have to say matters. It could be just one word.
Some mood music to inspire our creativity. Oh, that's true. I know. I was thinking more of the music, but that's so funny. How about we do a little more positive? Let's do this. ¿Te parece? Oh, much better. Inspired to add, go ahead, but begin to read what are on the walls, and in about 2 minutes, we're going to be forming groups around the different walls, hopefully equal numbered groups. So start to read what's on the different pieces of paper, and then stand next to one that's interesting to you.
Posters to stand by. The one that speaks to you, the one that's interesting to you, but we're also going to ask you to help us out by trying to make the groups equal. Okay?
Great. It looks like we've got a strong group at How Do You Scale Up. Could we get a few people around? What questions do you have about spread and scale? Oh, there you go. Maybe one or two more on how do you spread.
We can combine
health.
those two. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we can combine those two
Yeah,
groups.
we could combine the groups.
All right, here is your task. If everybody has a group, I know we have some coffee drinkers over here. If you want to assign yourself a group, that would be great, because this is a collaborative activity. You can take your poster off the wall and go wherever you want to go for the next 5 minutes. But what we'd like you to do is to create a Post-it note, I'd say tree, if you will, okay? Start to group the Post-it notes by categories. Start to analyze the information that's on your poster because you're going to present to the rest of the group. You're going to summarize, you're going to synthesize, you're going to present to the group. So you can make it a literal tree with different branches, like what are the branches to this question. You can organize the Post-it notes any way you'd like, and then you can name the categories or the branches. You can write directly on the paper to name them. If you want to take your poster off the wall and go and meet where there's chairs, that's fine. You have about 5 minutes.
lot of the time, right? It's younger than I'm getting confused now because it's so
Community. It's our last one. Community. Thank you. Community. And come on back, everybody. We're going to get a chance now. Wait till we have everybody. Just for those who can't hear, can we? If you can hear me, can you just raise your hand so people know? Great. Great. We're coming on back. Yes. Thank you. That's all right. We're just checking in. Thank you. You can put your hands down. We want to hear just a bit from each group. Some groups might still be working. And what's great is we will leave these posters to you and the rest of the workshop so they can be revisited. But we ask you now to listen to the other groups so that you get a sense of the conversation that happened on a topic you weren't working on. So you get to be part of that conversation too. All right? So why don't we start with where is our community needs or have group? Over here. Can we start over here, please? What are some of the themes you noticed on your posters?
You should probably know who your presenter is going to be before we get to your group, and that's our fault for not letting you know that.
Mary, go for it. Well, we started out by grouping.
What's the question?
Oh, our question is, what does a healthy community have or need? And we had a variety of groups, and then we decided to be lumpers instead of splitters. So at the top, we put the alignment and context of the community as one of the things that serves as a connector to some of the others. We had a resources category. We had a lot that looked at leadership and empowerment issues. And then we had really empowerment as a bridge over to the community engagement being absolutely essential, and then a positive culture and environment that connected to values, which was really underlying all of the other elements we thought of what a community needs and values.
Thank you for that work. That was a lot of work because they had a lot of Post-its to make that category. I'm sure those categories. I'm sure that's the case with all of you, but I'm impressed. We gave you a very short time. All right, who's next, Fareed?
Next, what gets in the way of building a healthy community?
That's you. You're up.
What gets in the way?
Move it out of the way. So the first thing that jumped out of us was that there was a lot of post-its.
Can you speak up?
The first thing that jumped out of us, there was a lot of post-its on social structures, things like racism, poverty, injustice, politics, imperialism. So that was the first easy one, because the social structures that get in the way of actually achieving health in a community was right in your face. And then there was some smaller portion of it focused on infrastructure, right? There's no cross-sectors collaboration, there are silos for mental health services in a community. And then we thought, there's someone in our group mentioned, well, there's another perspective here, and it's looking at a community from the side of deficit, right? Lack of access, lack of compassion, lack of empowerment, lack of community empowerment, lack of access to healthcare, lack of shared perspective. There was a lot of lack of in terms of how you look at what gets in the way. And then resources, both defined as lack thereof or the fact that they're not aligned appropriately. So competing priorities, bad triage, the way resources are allocated. There was kind of an outlier that we weren't sure where to put it, so we kept it by itself. When you get overwhelmed with what it might take, you just have to start somewhere. And communications, there was this issue of misinformation and a lack of a platform to communicate, we assumed. We made an assumption there, I'm not sure that's right. But that kind of became its own little grouping. But I think what stood out to us was that large social structure grouping that jumped out.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, very succinct.
Great. Let's move to what makes a program sustainable. This group here.
I guess I'm the closest.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So, yeah, so our group put these into a variety of different categories, although there's probably some overlap. So these were sort of the two big themes. The first is coming up with some kind of sustainable way that you'd align incentives or create sustainable financing. And then right here was making sure that the community itself that's impacted has been communicated with and buys into the intervention in some way that really makes it meaningful and creates that local support. And then some of the miscellaneous ones were having a clear strategy, having some kind of infrastructure in place that would allow something to continue, have something be scalable potentially, and maybe reproduce in other areas. And there was this also category of just like, does it really sort of appeal to people's moral or social imagination? Is it an inspiring or helpful intervention?
Excellent, thank you. Questions about spread and scale? Yep. All right, this group over here in this corner, you want to share with us what you've made? What questions do you have about spread and scale? I love how the people in the group are fleeing, actually shrinking away from their project that they worked so hard on.
I shouldn't do this tonight. I have other roles. But, so we have tried to group the questions that about spread and scale. That's what was the topic of this particular poster. And so there were some items that we grouped as barriers. You know, what are the other effects we should use as guides? How do we prevent spread and scale of ineffective programs? Characteristics of common critical issues or problems in the scale and spread of impact. What is success? How to scale to size? What's the right question? Is it meaningful? Need to understand the trade-offs. How do you declare success? Over here, how do you put health back into the schools? How do you get the right voices heard, sort of facilitatory engagement sort of thing along here? What are the most effective methods for spread? How do you create a social movement and so forth? Decisions to scale up. How do we decide how to spread and scale again? What's the short list of scale ready? And then a cluster of implementation kinds of issues around messages that are important, how to craft the message, the relationship between the scale and political divisions and so forth. So there are a number of questions, and that seemed to be the grouping that we had.
Excellent, thank you so much. Really clear. We have another group that actually conquered the same question, so we'd love to hear from them as well.
So we actually had a good bit of play on this question as well. We had a lot around co-ownership and partners and how you bring partners together to sort of co-create what a community wants to invest in. That moved us over to a series of questions around priority setting and risk stratification, around spread and scale, and how do you actually make that decision about where you want to create an infrastructure to support that, and what's necessary in terms of an infrastructure, and how do you frame it so that it's digestible to all of those different partners who may actually have very different approaches in how they tackle an issue. And that brought us down to sort of the issues around trade-offs and adapting to context. So we have lots of models and programs and best practices, but what about the trade-offs if you choose one over the other? And how do you balance the fidelity to a model or a program versus adapting that and evolving it over time to the community context and need? And then lastly, we had a whole series of post-its around evaluation, measurement, effectiveness, success, and what does that equal, and how do you really evaluate it so that all of those partners can see the benefit to themselves, but also the contribution of their efforts.
Wow, very succinct.
Yeah, very succinct. Who's next?
Let's go to how do we scale up impact?
All right, so I'll be the spokesperson for the group that we got to work very quickly, and it seemed that there were three, foundational areas. We would need strong metrics that demonstrate impact and show valuable. They have to be tangible. They have to be related to maybe reward and recognition, as well as the demand and the supply. There's collaboration, including very clear communication, culturally sensitive, linguistic, and how you use media and other ways for that. And then overall leadership, central leadership, shared leadership, no silos, similar to some of the other groups, and multidisciplinary. And then the logistics, which is the big question, the how, the strategy, or the logistics, it would, a lot of it had to do with education, using a logic framework, having community buy-in and resources, utilizing media, and allowing ownership, shared ownership.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do we spread health? Our group over here, how do we spread health?
We actually like butter and started thinking about what would be at the roots and most supportive factors. So thinking about the value proposition, the relationships, the communication, the need to address inequities, whether that's around income, wealth, other things, and then building up the trunk of the tree, community leadership, changing the conversation, really listening to the community, giving them a voice, connecting into the community culturally, changing the environment, being intentional, making it easier, thinking then about how to incentivize it, how to use policy to make it happen, and then how do you educate and train on the topics.
Wow. And we'll close with what are our hopes for this workshop?
I have to tell you, we had complete consensus on this because I walked over and no one was here, so I did it myself. I told Jeff I'm from the government, I'm here to help. So we have we came to great consensus on three categories. Relationships, inspiration, and strategies, and this idea of learning new approaches. So I think that the networking discussion, networking with interesting people, which was absent in this group. The idea then of thinking about, someone said thoughts about the workshop are in flux. They're looking for some inspiration, sense of scope and scale, and new strategies. And then moving to this new ideas and approaches, looking at deeper understanding and appreciation for the concept and really getting a grasp of it. I think a lot of these talk about learning new ideas and what does it really mean, how do you operationalize that work, and so thank you on behalf of the group.
Thank you. And thank you all for helping to process that information. We're going to close in a circle. One final circle.
With their groups or
no? We are going to leave them with IOM. Yes, yes. Yes, very.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Everybody.
Thank you so much for participating in some activities that may not have been the activities that you were expecting to participate in.
Oh.
So we are really grateful that you went along on the journey with us, because I understand that this is not a traditional way to process information and start conversation. Thank you for making space in the circle.
Yeah.
You may have noticed that Fareed has been typing on his cell phone. He has not been texting. He has been taking notes, so he'd like to reflect back some of those notes to you, if that's okay. It's sort of his gift at the end. You ready, Fareed?
Yes, and we'll be closing by hearing from the group some of your reflections, so hopefully this will bring up some of the ideas that came out of the discussion. I heard from you, reminding ourselves these Post-its came from everybody. So a healthy community needs resources, leadership, empowerment, and empowerment should act as a bridge to community engagement. I heard that you need alignment and context to serve as a connector, and at the root of it all is values. I heard from you that what gets in the way of building healthy communities is racism, politics, other systems like infrastructure, people working in silos, there's a lack of collaboration, and that there's a lack of access, empowerment, shared perspective, a lack of resources, competing priorities, a lack of communication that sometimes results in a triage. A program, though, can be sustainable when there's an aligned incentive, sustainable finances, clear strategy, community buy-in, and a potential for spread. But what are the barriers to spread and scale was a question that came up. Other questions about spread and scale are how do we prevent ineffective programs? What is success? How do we declare success? How do we know if something is meaningful? How do we implement something that is working? How do you build partners? What is necessary for what is necessary? Is it infrastructure? Is it trade-offs? Is it adapting to context? How do you then evaluate something once it's in place? Our questions, though, are with the goal of scaling up. And to do that, it sounds like we need tangible metrics. We need collaboration. We need leadership that is multidisciplinary. And we need logistics. But how do we spread health? Because that's our ultimate goal. We learned that spreading health means building relationships, communication, addressing inequities, community leadership that can change the conversation using policy and implementing training. And we hope to address all of this through this meeting by discussing strategy, by sharing information, by creating relationships, and ultimately leaving with inspiration.
Yeah, so big. Yeah. He gets
That's
better
you.
and better
Those are
at
your
that.
words.
That's all
Those are your words.
you. All of those words are yours. All of those words are yours. And we're going to leave these here to create the environment for the rest of your workshop so that you can come back and read what people have written. You may not have had a chance to do that. And we're going to end it with one more evaluative tool that I love to share because it's one of my favorite ways to sort of evaluate an activity or a check-in, and it's called a word whip. I'd love you to think of one word in response to the work that you have done so far or that you've done with us, where you are right now. And we're going to whip around the circle, and you're going to share that word, okay? And it could be in response to the keynote, it could be in response to the workshop, but it's sort of our ways as facilitators to give you an opportunity to be heard as well, because we've done a lot of talking, okay? When you have your word, give us a thumbs up. Okay. So, like, for example, I might say collaboration or inspired, which I am, okay? Once we've... you're right. I pick inspired. Inspired. So when we get all the way around the circle, we are going to clap at the same time. That looks like this. We're going to clap at the same time. Ready? Pretty good. And then when our time with you is finished, we will send you off to change the world. Okay? Are you ready? All right. We'll start with Fareed.
Inspiration.
Powerful.
Energized.
Complexity.
Challenged. Whoa.
Sharing.
Amplify.
Hopeful.
Relationships.
Intrepid.
Energized.
Connecting.
Flexibility.
Engaged. Frustrated.
Engaged was mine.
Okay, that's great.
Communication. Take back hummable.
Reach. Resilience.
Excited.
Change.
Challenged. Passion.
Confused.
Learning. Hopeful. Resilience.
Challenged. Inspired.
Horizontal.
Committed.
Inquisitive.
Amazed. Curious.
Catalytic.
Dynamic.
Constructive.
Innovative.
Equitable.
Evolving.
Inspired. Ready? All at the same time. Yeah!
All right,
Thank you so
very
much for your
much.
time. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful meeting.